This is the story of learning the Pale Man's disturbing identity in Diablo 4, Act 3-1, The Spreading Darkness. After our fiery encounter with Astaroth, we head back to the barbarian outpost of Kedbar-Du in the Dry Steppes to meet up with Lorith Nah as he had ventured off alone to find the Pale Man. Upon our arrival in town, we hear the locals complain.
The old bastard drank half my stock and left without paying.
Wondering who this reviled drunk is, we again hear another displeased local heir.
Miserable drunken louse.
It's only after a third local complains.
Can we never have peace? Shouting and cursing all night.
They should run him out of town.
Do we see just to the north the source of the disturbance, as a snoring Lorith naps in a muddy pigsty.
Well, he's still breathing.
He is lucky to be.
And we asked the nearby villager, what happened here?
That old man there, he claims to be Horadrim, but he drinks like an ox.
He came to town days ago, looking for a servant of the demon Lilith, a pale man. It seems he didn't like what he found.
I see. I will take it from here.
Who are you?
He and I met in the Fractured Peaks. I saw his pale man in a vision, if you can believe it.
Enough. He's yours. Just keep away from the bottle, both of you.
As the locals meander off, we're left to rouse the incapacitated Horadrim, much to his dismay.
Oh, bloody damn hells, what do you want?
You told me to meet you here, Lorath. Remember?
Of course I remember. I'm just surprised you're not dead. Hand me that bottle.
What happened to you?
I was attacked, obviously, by vast quantities of alcohol, wielded by my own treacherous hand. There may also have been a brawl with the goats over this patch of mud, but I like to think I triumphed.
Lorath, who is the Pale Man?
The Pale Man was Horadrim.
Horadrim? Then you must know him.
I thought I did, once. His name's Elias. He was my apprentice. He was the one who brought Lilith to Sanctuary. It's possible that I did not take the news very well.
What must we do then?
Find him. Figure out what he's done. And then kill him. Listen. There's a woman here someplace. She has some messages we'll need. And I'm of no use to anyone right now. Could you find her? Enough time has been wasted. Oh, check around the inn. Ask if she's heard from the Orbei Monastery.
We then dutifully make our way south and find at the inn's entrance a native woman out front named Tekran informing. Lorith sent me. Have you heard from the Orbei Monastery?
No word from Orbei. Same as yesterday and the day before. But I have something else. Rumor has it a pale man passed through the Abaru Canyon some time ago. Fearsome fellow, dressed in black. After Lorath's performance last night, I wager he'll want to know.
Elias is nearby. With this news, we race back to Nah, still recovering from his bender, and report Tekran had no messages, but...
Strange. I wrote to the Orbei Monastery the day I arrived. The abbot should have replied by now.
Tekran spoke of a rumor. A pale man, seen near the canyons.
The canyons? Why didn't you say so? We go at once. Ugh, but we can't leave Orbei unchecked. Sod it. I'm off to the canyons. You can meet me there or go to the monastery. You seem reliable thus far. Do not prove me wrong.
Before we choose our path and Loreth departs, we further apprise. We have news from the Fractured Peaks. Inarius killed Rathma for the key to hell.
Inarius' stupidity never ceases to amaze. Had he not murdered Rathma, Lilith might have been stopped, but now she has the key to hell. We can assume she'll be looking for a door.
There's more. I bore witness to Lilith's evil in Skosglen. Astaroth was resurrected thanks to Lilith, and Donan unfortunately lost his boy Oyuun in the process.
Oh, Donan. The poor fool never could have guessed that Lilith would come for Astaroth, let alone offer his boy to it. But what does she buy in return? Astaroth hails from the realm of hatred, same as she. Perhaps she left something at home.
Tell me, why would Elias summon Lilith?
Is he insane, you mean? Elias was an exceptional mage. He would plunge through fire and shite in search of the truth, and very often found it. Whatever truth he has found in Lilith, only he can say the why of it.
With time wasting, we rush to meet Loreth to the south of Kedbardu in the Abaru Canyon. Departing the town, we see the bodies of the whispered cannibals in the hills, and it's just to the east we find an encampment that has succumbed to an unseen carnage. By the well in the middle of the road, Loreth looks on and we ask, "What have you found?"
I had hoped to find a witness who saw Elias. Instead, I have a camp of dead merchants. They were slaughtered by demons, that much is plain. But none were summoned here. We should search the canyons.
Could Elias have summoned these demons?
Easily. And assuming he did, he may still be here. Stay close to me.
Just to the south, as promised, we're set upon by four-legged flesh threshers and vile fiends who lie in wait. As we make our way down the cliffside, we look over and see a rustic stone hut in which Genbar presumably resides. By a rickety wooden bridge, the flesh thresher demons amass to defend something of value just out of sight, and we cut a path through the fiends to find a strange demonic glyph, and Loreth recognizes the danger immediately, warning.
They're coming to a hell rift. I will close it. Put them down.
The rift then births a throng of succubi that screech when put down. Evidently, not content with our defiance, the rift releases a giant fallen foe, Harath, the Cinder Maw. It's only when all the demons are disposed of, Loreth pants.
Far too easy. These demons were vermin. I'd expect more from a mage of Elias's ability. Let's search the house.
To the northwest, we find the house lightly guarded by demons. Dispatching them, Loreth warns.
Tread carefully. Elias could still be close. See what you can find.
Turning to an open journal of one Genbar, it reads,
"Today, Master Elias called at my door. I had trouble with my words, so I showed him my carvings. He said he could see my pain in them. The pain of a lonely man who had learned to hate the world. And yet, our mother, Lilith, found me beautiful. He said there are others like me as well. And together, we will build the new world."
Statues of Lilith? What else has Genbar been up to? A demonic scroll in the northeast of the room reads, scrolls of incantations for summoning of minor demons. Drawings resemble the four-legged demons in the canyons. Moving to the courtyard, we find Lorith inspecting some broken carvings, and we see the remains of a fine stone statue smashed into pieces. Heading to an alcove smattered in blood, Lorith sighs.
What a damn mess.
Overlooking a bloody glyph, we see an expertly carved statue of Lilith covered in blood and viscera, wondering if this is Genbar's remains or someone else. Handing the demonic scroll to Na, we inform. Here's what I found, and he quickly divines.
Burning hells! We're too late. Elias is long gone. This Genbar is our summoner.
How can you be certain?
Isn't it obvious? Elias finds Genbar alone, friendless, full of anger. So he plays him like a fiddle, offers him Lilith's love and a part in his grand delusion. Then he gives him tools to express his anger.
Summoning scrolls.
Very perceptive. Who knows how long Genbar has stewed in this madness? Let's hope he can still be questioned.
Through the northern back door, we follow the trail of blood and descend the Rift of 1,000 Eyes, aptly named as we see, true to his word, Genbar has been carving statues in Lilith's honor, and we stop abruptly as we hear his prayers carry through the caverns.
Thank you for opening my eyes. Your hatred fills my heart. I cannot stop my hands from working.
Genbar, you poor fool.
Batting aside more demons as we pass the chorus of watchful stone eyes, we soon find the summoner by a carved demonic symbol in a northeastern cavern as Genbar gives thanks.
Thank you for sending Master Elias to show me the way. I long for the day when we stand by your side and set the cleansing fire.
We then interrupt the prayer saying, Genbar.
Visitors? Did Master Elias send you?
Master Elias? Well, yes, in fact he did. Ours is a very important mission. We have something for the Master, but we had heard he was with you. Do you know where he is?
Liar! Dirty pig's-born liar! The Master has all he needs! Rise now, my wretches, to me!
We're immediately plagued by a fear spell. Sent hurtling through Genbar's demons, he calls forth, only catching ourselves in time before we're swarmed entirely. Without his many summons to protect him, the Shrine Keeper becomes vulnerable to our volley of blood magics, and desperate, he calls on his master for aid.
Master Elias, hear me! Your enemies are here!
I have waited a very long time for this. I have a gift for you.
That is a proper demon. Watch your ass.
A powerful winged pit lord, Marmon, swings its giant sword at us and calls forth a wall of stone to trap us as the demon and Genbar work in tandem to overwhelm us through unholy magics and brute force alike, focusing down the colossal pit lord between the hefts of its mighty sword. It finally falls, turning into a black husk and keeling over in defeat. Genbar, now utterly alone, frantically calls forth lesser demons, but to no avail, as we use their mounting corpses to become explosive shrapnel of bone and blood that's fragments finish off the former Shrine Keeper.
Oh, Elias, how vicious you've become. Bad news first. Genbar was expecting someone. It seems Elias has turned others to his madness. Taught them to summon too, I'd wager. You heard Genbar. The Master has all he needs. They're about to do something drastic.
And the good news?
Elias gave us a gift, remember? This demon he sent to kill us. It is unique. It requires constant feeding. Human sacrifices, in fact. If I cut open its belly, someone inside might hold a clue. Tell us where it came from. I must have it brought to Kedbardu for examination.
The abbot opened the door, and the pale devil smiled. He took the forbidden knowledge!
This is the story of Diablo 4, Act 3-2. How Elias learned how to summon a lesser evil. In the wake of dealing with Elias's newest acolyte, Genbar, who he taught how to summon demons, we continue hot on the Pale Man's heels. However, Lorith is disturbed that the nearby Orbei Monastery has not returned his letters saying,
Make yourself useful and head for the Orbei Monastery. See what's keeping that bloody abbot.
Before leaving, we attempt to learn more of the Pale Man and ask of Na. You know Elias. Has Lilith corrupted him somehow?
Elias had a talent for persuasion. Convenient trait for a Horadrim, given our dealings. But he could be relentless when he wanted something. Even cruel. In that way, he and Lilith are similar. Suffering, bloodshed. To them, these are a means to an end. They will bring out the worst in each other.
Why would Elias target the Dry Steppes?
The Dry Steppes have no Cathedral of Light, no druids, and their capital city, Guulrahn, has been sacked. Many are vulnerable, just like Genbar. We must learn what Elias has planned for them.
With all we can learn of Lorith's former apprentice, for now, we head southwest of Kedbardu, across the parched plains, and soon come to a seemingly deserted monastery, left to bake in the sun. The only signs of life, a foreboding pool of blood. And as we pass over the Zakharum symbol under a low arch, we dismount our steed appraising.
A house of the Zakharum. Left alone to rot.
Inside the dark hall, we find the source of the rotting stench being the remains of an outstretched slain monk. On his person, we scoop up a message from the abbot to Lorith.
Lorith Na, how bizarre it is to hear from you. Your charming apprentice arrived just this morning with equally disturbing news, but he made no mention of you. Am I to assume you did not send him? Please, join us at Orbei as soon as you are able.
Following the bloody trail, we descend the stairs into the lower levels, calling out.
Is anyone here?
The outer cloister too seems empty, until we are startled by a frantic scream ahead.
Murder! Murder in the sacristy!
Lock the doors!
What about the others? The abbot!
Do as I say!
Hearing the Orbei's outer cloister being sealed, we find we are locked in what is now a mausoleum for the dead. It's only when we arrive at the central door that was previously sealed, we hear that the monks locking themselves in seem to be a fatal error.
Open the door! Let us out!
Unable to open the large double doors, we see a nearby skull pedestal and divine that a crucial object is missing. Making our way to the low levels, we hear screeching of the monks being attacked.
He's here!
Distraught that Elias may be tearing through the poor monk's ranks, we begin our frenetic search of the corpses littered about for a key and find on Sister Mariah's remains an ornate crusader's skull. Hoisting said relic on our back, we trudge as fast as we can to the pedestal as the monks continue to beg.
Open the door! Let us out!
With our path unlocked, we find one of the nearby monks already deceased, and their journal reveals.
I was so excited when I walked into the sacristy that day. Finally, my turn to enter the archive and explore the knowledge of darkness. Now, I'd give anything to forget what I've learned.
Knowledge of darkness. As we're set upon by wrathful spirits, we cannot help but wonder if the monks had toyed with powers beyond their comprehension, and are now fated to haunt these halls in a hellish undeath.
We're under attack!
In a northern study, we then find the monks had transcribed clandestine knowledge of the very birth of hell.
Lo, the great beast Tathamet was struck down, and its blackened husk sank below the abyss. There, it smoldered and festered, and from the ruin of its 7 heads were born 7 great evils, 3 primes and 4 lessons, enemies of all creation.
Something tells us that whatever the monks stored here was invaluable to someone obsessed with the dark arts such as Elias, and we must make haste to make sure he doesn't get his hands on the forbidden knowledge. Still true to their duty in death, as they were in life, a wrathful phantom in the southern wing warns.
Not a Horadrim, not a man, a devil.
In the central hall, we find a slain monk's journal as another slain monk interrupts.
Commissioned during the time of troubles, the
Damn you, Abbot! Why did you let him in?
The archive has expanded to the study of all evils, restricted to only the most devout scholars of Zakarum.
To the northeast, we locate a raving monk crouched and rambling.
Unto evening, I shall keep it safe. And then...
We then ask, are you wounded? Where is the abbot?
The abbot! Open the door! And the pale devil smiled! He took the forbidden knowledge!
Shh, it's all right. I've cleared the way out. Can you walk?
There is no way out. What knowledge remains must never leave. Unto evening I shall keep it safe, and into the night hereafter. We must protect the archive.
Wading through the many phantoms sent to protect the archive, we discover its door is sealed and inscribed. You who would seek to know darkness, kneel before the light, speak the words of the litany, and accept our holy burden. Nearby, we locate 3 statues that contain the litany of the Orbei.
From morning, my eyes were opened, and I saw the coming darkness. Through the day, I have prepared to accept the burden of knowledge. Unto evening, I shall keep it safe, and into the night hereafter.
The door then unseals and swings open to reveal the archive engulfed in flames. Too late, we bound up the stairs and find the abbot alive, sitting atop a stack of books with a torch in his hand, and we cautiously approach, urging, "Abbot, we need to leave now."
With the rest of it.
Where is Elias?
Gone. He said the ruin of Sanctuary was imminent and only I could help. He is going to summon a lesser evil. He took all he needed, and then my scholars, he murdered them. Oh, my friends, forgive me.
The spirits of the fallen rush to claim his soul. We're then immediately engulfed in vortexes of red, ethereal energy that blind us, and as we move to escape, find bone walls erected to cage us in. Pushing the spirit into the burning corner of the room, it proves it is not without defense, as the bone wall caging it turns out to be an offensive act, as the bone fragments explode as deadly projectiles and fling towards us. However, despite our predicament, we still call forth the crimson ichor of the bound dead inside the fiend and extract its putrid essence until it falls defeated upon the floor. On its remains, we locate a Gospel of Mother written by Elias. As we have confirmation, his former pupil is now in possession of the means to summon a lesser evil.
The whole of human knowledge shall be shared among the children of Lilith, and no secret shall be kept from them. And the liars and learned thieves of the world shall perish in their regret.
This is the story of Diablo 4, Act 3-3, the crazy creation of the cannibals. Once we contend with Elias's newest lackey, Genbar's summoned demon, we head to the Orbei Monastery on the trail of the Pale Man, only to learn he had stolen valuable information that would aid him in summoning none other than a lesser evil. We then return to Ked Bardu, where Lorith plans to conduct an autopsy on said demon for clues of Elias's whereabouts, and we inform.
What did he take?
Scrolls from the Forbidden Archive. He has the means to summon a lesser evil.
He what? Which bloody one? Where? Oh, we don't know, of course. Elias could cover the steppes in blood, but a lesser could wipe out the continent, or worse. Come, Elias's pet demon is inside. Pray it leads us to him.
Before aiding and hacking up a demon's remains, we inquire, what are lesser evils?
Perhaps you are too young. The prime evils you should know. Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal. The lessers are their rotten kin. Asmodan, Belial, Andariel, and Juriel. Each of them has ravaged humankind since the dawn of history, and they will gladly do so again.
Tell me, what happened between you and Elias to send him on this path?
He asked me endless prying questions. Frankly, I should be more concerned about your past. Trusting one so connected to Lilith is quite a risk on my part, and one I do not take lightly.
With valuable time wasting, we then proceed. All right, let's begin.
It was protecting that fool, Genbar.
This is Elias's work. But where is he? The answer lies in the stomach. This is delicate. A soft noble's hand. Elias would have to feed this thing with more than fancy boots.
That's someone's son.
Or daughter.
We should burn demons.
This is wrong.
This medallion bears the crest of the ruler of the royal house of Guulrahn.
Former ruler.
Obviously.
That's enough, old man. The dead deserve respect.
The dead deserve nothing when the living are in danger. Now Guulrahn has a new ruler, and we have Elias to thank for it.
The dead may be worthless to you, but that medallion could bring peace to those still mourning.
Fine. If we are to find Elias, then we must also travel to Guulrahn. Meet me there, and be swift about it. Oh, and avoid the city gates. Too many cannibals. Go to the cliffs. We'll find help there.
Before we meet Elias at the sacked city of Guulrahn and contend with cannibals, we decided best to learn of Guulrahn's fate by speaking to the displaced refugees that found their way in the city of barbarians in Kedbar-Du. To the northeast, we find a bustling market where a visitor, Rangol, wishes.
Father always wanted to see the markets of Kedbar-Du. I wish he had made it.
Just to the north of the vibrant hub, we see a stranded merchant's cart. It seems merchants from all around travel to sell in the markets of Kedbar-Du. The reputation of the barbarians' metalworks brings visitors looking to buy. Just ahead, we overhear a mercenary arguing with a trader.
Passes to the southwest are still blocked by bandits. How are we supposed to transport goods if we have to go around the damn pass? I paid for your swords, so use them.
Not enough to get myself killed and eaten in those hills.
Speaking of eaten, it's not the cannibals that we worry about, as we see a pile of meat in a nearby butcher. It's clear the butcher's stockpile runs low these days. The increase of people has made it difficult to keep up with demand. The fear of cannibals outside the city remains high as Asha inside the jeweler's complains.
The barbarians chose to ignore another crisis, I see.
They're working. Their craftsmanship built Kedbar-Du.
Well, next time they look up from their work, I hope they don't see a town that has been overrun with cannibals.
To the west, we find the infamous metalworks, and in the middle, a large bonfire. And we overhear the barbarians were the first to settle Kedbar-Du, and the city has grown around them, but their encampment remains largely unchanged. Asmus, a local getting warm, then complains.
Every day I hear of a new threat in our lands.
What of it? Our gates and people are strong.
Arrogance is what topples cities.
A nearby artisan showcases barbarian hospitality.
Away! I have work.
Up the stairs, a guard Dorji explains.
The cannibal attacks have people frightened, and fear is good for business.
In the local inn, Barine complains of the refugees.
All the crying and worry of Guulrahn survivors is scaring off buyers.
Let's have some compassion.
I would rather have coin.
We then ask of the innkeeper, Urgum. Have the mercenaries been helping keep the city's infamous wares safe?
The mercenaries are decent with a blade, but those greedy canyon adders are always raising their prices. Nobody should have to pay for safety.
Why is it so busy here?
Aye, since bandits block the pass in the south, babbling merchants have been haunting my inn.
Have you heard any local news in Kedbar-Du?
Oi, make your stay in Kedbar-Du a short one. New faces tend to bring new problems.
Atop the conjoined building with the inn, Lagra, a local empathizes.
It's hard to walk down the streets when they've been flooded with the grief and sorrows of Guulrahn.
The situation is so dire, the local authorities have pinned on a message board in the center of town. The survivors of Guulrahn have settled in makeshift camps on the west side of town. Kedbar-Du doesn't have the resources to build quick enough to house its growing population. To the north of town, a Guulrahn survivor then shares.
The locals even avert their gazes, but at least we're safe here.
And to the west, we find the blood-soaked and tattered clothes of refugees. Those that fled their homes in Guulrahn had little time to gather anything. We then see a nearby elder who stands over this sad scene and simply sobs. Just to the north of the haphazard base camp, a young boy, Jamstus, complains of their new living conditions.
When can we go home? Kedbar-Du smells like smoke. The food is too salty, and Yakfur is itchy.
Shush. This is home now.
It's clear between the bandits and cannibals blocking the south and the displaced former inhabitants of Guulrahn City, integrated into an overpopulated Kedbadu. The things are looking bleak for the local barbarians' trade and the refugees alike. Resolved to put an end to Elias and the rumored usurpers who have taken over Guulrahn, we begin our journey to meet Lorith at its cliffs to the south. It's only to the southeast over a rickety bridge to the blood-soaked Ingress do we run afoul of the cannibal cleavers mid-meal. Somewhat foolishly, we attempt to ride through their encampment and find ourselves at a broken bridge as a hot meal on legs tries to flee screaming.
Help! Please!
Mauling the many maniacs during one of their meat-munching meetings, we mash their maws and step forward to the edge of the bridge to witness the unspeakable horror of what remains the city of Guulrahn. Realizing a full frontal assault is suicide, we opt to follow the more covert path Lorith insisted we originally pursue. Thus, we find a winding cliff path along the Trail of Bones to the east until we come across a hidden overlook. Inside the winding cave, we find an opening overlooking the ruins of the city below, with Na gazing out into the carnage, and we inform, "I'm here, Lorith."
Good of you to come. Pity you didn't bring an army or siege works.
Elias is here?
Gone to the palace, no doubt. Behind the high wall with the gates barred behind him. We can't get through.
You know who can.
Zelaya.
Sure. How many messages did I send? Huh? How long has Oyuun been missing? Trapped in there with those butchers? She may be the only one left who knows of the tunnel.
If she's still alive. If this tunnel exists at all.
You don't trust me?
Of course not. You're a thief. Useful years ago, true. But it's clear you have some other reason to seek this Oyuun.
Not your business.
If I were to look for Oyuun, where would I start?
She has a house in the market square. We were supposed to meet there before, but I couldn't get close.
Tried to come back alive. Not convinced this Oyuun is worth the risk, but perhaps you'll prove me wrong.
Yeah. Have a little faith for once, old man.
Watching the duo bicker, we follow them to their encampment and ask, "How do you two know each other?"
Had the pleasure of meeting her years ago. She tried to steal my Heradric amulet.
Thought it might be worth something. My mistake.
We then query Zelaya. What was that about the tunnel?
Oyuun mentioned the passage once or twice, but never went into detail. And I knew better than to pry.
And who is this Oyuun?
An old friend. She served the overseers in the palace kitchens. Knows all the secrets in that place.
With the ticket to entering the palace tunnels being held by the prisoner Oyuun, we wait until nightfall. Shrouded by darkness, we descend the cliff's face into the city's seedy, sanguine alley, aptly named as the streets run red and crimson bloodhawks swoop to meet us. Searching for the market square to gain our bearings, we see a pond filled with blood and remains of the former inhabitants, as a cannibal absent-mindedly gorges on his latest prey. Scaling the rooftops for a vantage point, we traverse a rope line across the city streets and come across a woman fleeing from an attack.
No, don't let them get me! Thank you. Thank you.
Have you seen someone named Oyuun?
I don't know. The cannibals are rounding everyone up, killing, feasting. But a few, they drag away. The prisons, I heard. Why would these monsters keep anyone alive?
The prisons. Maybe there is a chance Oyuun lives.
Heading northeast, we find the path to the prison blocked and choose one of two lesser paths, being scaling the western wall of the Forsaken Vestibule and circumventing the gate altogether. Once inside the prison, we see a mural to the aforementioned overseers presiding over their prized slaves like cattle. To the east, the entrance to the forlorn cells and executes some nearby cannibals feasting on corpses of their guests. Entering the furthest room to the east, we're pounced upon by Akil, the jailer of the weak, who unsurprisingly has mastery in walling his prey in combat. Collecting the prison key off his corpse, we open the nearby rusty door, calling out,
Oyuun, are you here?
Who's there?
By the far wall, Oyuun sits among her dead kin and shares.
You're not him. Who are you? The chopping. It stopped and I thought he was coming for me next.
Your friend Zelaya sent me.
She's still here?
You'll see her soon. We need to get through the market.
I know another way. It's safer. The old prison wing. It was sealed off years ago after an earthquake.
Where did the cannibals come from?
Here. They were prisoners. A clan of bandits. Led by Tyrant Bro. I overheard them talking about a new age to come and the man who would bring it. Elias. I think he turned them into these monsters. Set them free.
It was Elias who stoked the cannibals' insatiable hunger.
The wall ahead. That used to be the entrance to the old prison wing. Can you break through?
Breaking through the flimsy wall, shambling corpses then amble towards us en masse with ill intent.
I thought it would be safe this way.
We'll get through. Stay close.
Wading our way through scores of undead, Oyuun finds a way out of the wretched pit.
Look! A crack in the wall. Oh, we made it. I can't stop my hands from shaking. Give me a moment.
With a moment of welcome respite in the exit chamber, we ask, why didn't you escape?
I was waiting for Zelaya at my home. When I realized she wasn't coming, I tried to run. But those monsters caught me.
Who were the overseers?
Royal blood. Ruled Guulrahn for generations. Decadent and cruel. But they were saints compared to Bro.
What do you know about Elias?
I saw him at the royal court. He walked in unannounced. Demanded the city to be given to him. The overseers sent him to the prisons, of course. They laughed about the strange man all night. That was the last time they laughed.
And now the overseers laugh no more. With time against us, we inquire. Are you ready?
Yes. Where is she?
As we guide Oyuun up the side of the mountain, we hear Lorath's voice carried on the wind.
Keep that beast quiet.
Shh! It's safe now. Nothing will get you up here.
Tholaya! Oyuun! Oh, you've come back to me!
You waited. Kept yourself in danger.
Oh, you stubborn cow. Of course I waited. Where would I go without you to tell me?
Anywhere away from here.
Yes, well, you were a lucky fool, I'll give you that.
Lorath here sent this one to find you. They need your help getting into the palace.
There's an old escape tunnel. The entrance is in the caverns nearby. Behind an alcove marked with the Overseer's cross. Twin sabers joined at the hilt. Press the left pommel to open the way.
Caverns. Could be worse.
Wanderer. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Let's go! Hiya!
I think that was the merchant's horse. Best not tell him.
With our path clear, Lorath strangely stands firm instead of heading towards the tunnel, and we query, Lorath?
You know, when we first met, I assumed this connection you have with Lilith would lead you to darkness, as it has Elias. But after the good you've done here, maybe I was wrong. We shall see.
After extracting Oyuun from Guulrahn's prison, she gives us the location of the hidden underground passage leading to the palace. And so we meet Lorath at the cave's entrance via the winding trail of bones, and he muses.
While you were in the city, I was thinking on Elias's plans. Which of the lesser evils he means to summon. What he did to Guulrahn is a clue.
He has drowned it in blood.
Meaning his goal is likely Duriel or Andariel.
What's the difference?
Duriel feeds off physical pain, Andariel revels in mental and emotional torment. Whichever one it is, if Elias succeeds, many more cities will share Guulrahn's fate. Our only hope is he hasn't completed the summoning yet.
Lorath then meanders into the offal pits, and we follow close behind.
Oyuun said the tunnel is in a hidden alcove.
Beginning our search, we're soon confronted with undead ghouls who have made the moist cavity their home. To the north, Lorath exclaims,
There. Ahead. Could that be it?
And we see twin-crossed sabers next to a large door, as promised, and ask Lorath, this is the place.
Twin sabers. Just as Oyuun described.
As the door lurches open, we see dried blood of the dead left to rot by a stream. Climbing a nearby ladder, we skirt the edge of the cavern and see a gap in the bricks, indicating we are by the city's walls, and Lorath warns.
Wait. Do you hear that?
Why do we stay here? Need more prey, more meat.
And you will have it once Elias has finished his grand work.
What work?
You will see soon, bro. The seeds we have sown will bear fruit. Guulrahn will be reborn, and so will...
But work.
Elias, he is poised to summon Andariel into the world. Her power will lift us to new heights. And of course, you will have more meat.
Huh. I want to watch.
Certainly, great bro. You will be the guest of honor.
With Elias's demented plan laid bare, we charge around the corner following the blood trail, and Lorith despairs.
Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish. That is the lesser evil he means to summon. Heavens help us.
Inside the once opulent palace to the east, Lilith's disciples lie in wait. On the heels of the ex-Herodrum, we locate his throne room to the east. However, one of his underlings warns.
The Master calls forth the Maiden! You will not disturb him!
Attacking this harbinger of Mother's judgment, who sits perched atop a glyph of blood, she hurls violent bolts of electricity and summons swirling shock spells sent to shear flesh from bone. Despite the cruel sting of her sorcery, Lorith casts a stun spell that lands square on her back and proceeds to swing and stab furiously with his polearm as she rises in a daze, and we unleash a wave of blood that rends her corporeal form asunder. Looking at the glyph she stood atop, we see a gruesome collection of partially eaten corpses. Scraps of fine clothing suggests these may be the remains of the royal family. We then pause by the gruesome remains of the royals atop their throne, where these original overseers somewhat reaped what they had sown. Backtracking, we find in a nearby room a seal that bars our path to Elias's sanctum. Once dispelled, Lorith informs.
Look at all this. An archive of the Forbidden, handpicked by Elias himself. He must be planning to summon Andariel somewhere else. But he did his research here. Look around. There might be some clues that can tell us where the ritual will take place.
The Pale Man's sanctum is a treasure trove of books and forbidden tomes, and we see on the nearby table one of his journal entries.
The prophecy is unfolding before my eyes. I was right to act on it. When the prime evils come, they will find no easy prey. We will be ready. Our rebirth begins here, with Andariel chained to the heart of Guulrahn. She will feed on the suffering in this city of anguish, and we in turn will feed on her. Andariel's power will be ours to wield against the other lords of hell. If more must die to see it come to pass, so be it. I will not fail you, Mother.
In the western corner, under a three-headed snake statue, we locate sketches of 3 shrines, each depicting one of the prime evils, Diablo, Baal, and Mephisto. Below the drawings, Elias has written, "Only the blessed can open the way." Returning to Lorith, who is gazing at an unknown clump of flesh preserved in a jar, we inquire, "What have you found?"
I recognize many of these books. He must have stolen them from their Roderick vault.
Realizing we'd seen similar books in said vault, we question. Elias summoned demons long before this, didn't he?
Don't tell me you were meddling in the Roderick vault. I put a seal on his quarters for a reason. The fool thought he could use that power against the prime evils. Fight fire with fire. I gave him an ultimatum. Stop or leave the Herodrum. You know the rest.
Leaving Lorith to his research, we find a nearby old, worn map. At the center of the map is the Temple of the Primes, an ancient complex buried beneath Mount Sivo. Notes are scrawled across the paper, and they appear to be calculations for how much of Guulrahn's populace would be needed to excavate the temple. Putting the clues together, we return to Lorith announcing, "Here's what I've found."
Andariel, chained to the heart of Guulrahn. Her evil will not stay contained here. It will drown the land in suffering.
This is beyond madness.
Quite the opposite. Elias's mind is clear for once. When I knew him, he was searching for purpose. I couldn't give him one, and so he found it in Lilith. I didn't stop him. I let him become this.
Now is our chance to make it right, before things get even worse.
Yes, we have what we need. The summoning will take place at the Temple of the Primes in Mount Sivo. Now to find a way out. Knowing Elias, he would have had an escape route in case things didn't go his way. Behind the bookcase. I guess that's the one thing he learned from me.
Following Lorith to the hidden overlook, we find ourselves in a large open arena and ask, what now?
Should have killed him when I had the chance. We must hurry.
Exiting the corpse-smattered city, we begin our way up the forsaken ascent of Mount Sivo to the east. The terrain and its structures that sit upon the volcano are burnt alike, as if it had been set off not long ago, making our ride up the presumably active ascent all the more nerve-wracking. By a sizable group of slain demons, we locate Lorith and ask, what is our next step?
Somewhere in this paradise, the Triune has reclaimed its ancient temple. Trouble is, we can't simply walk in. Elias was researching something about shrines to Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo.
Only the blessed can open the way.
Yes, but to be blessed by the prime evils. Damn risky.
If it is the key to getting inside the temple, I will take the risk.
Baal's shrine is close. We'll start there.
As promised, to the east past some fervent followers, we locate a crude yet menacing effigy of the Lord of Destruction, with some pressing questions that need answers before we're caught in the web of a prime. We ask of Na, what is the Triune?
They worship the Lords of Hell. Or at least they used to. If the Triune is working with Elias here, it must mean they pledged themselves to Lilith.
Wait, if the Triune worshipped the prime evils, why have they joined Elias?
It all comes down to power. The old cult bowed to the prime evils, little more than slaves to demons. But through Elias, through Lilith, they can become masters of demons. Or so they think.
But why would Elias want blessings from the primes? They are his enemies.
The blessings are just a means to an end. Elias needs the temple, a place of demonic power where he can summon Andariel.
Knowing we too must be granted the prime's blessing, we approach the altar and the candles spring to life.
Baal, Lord of Destruction. His influence has launched every war in history. Never once has he tired of conflict. Speak his true name. Tor Balos.
Tor Balos.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
2 more shrines to go. Diablo and then Mephisto. Stay strong.
With a foreign tingle of Baal's destructive energy surging its way across our very being, we cautiously seek out his brother, Diablo's shrine, finding it upon the spine of Sivo, his worshippers forgoing their lives for the Lord of Terror. Again, we proceed to the blood-soaked altar, and Lorith instructs.
Diablo, Lord of Terror. Every mortal fear, every nightmare, he is the root of it all. Always has been. Speak his true name. Al Diabolos.
Al Diabolos.
incapacitated by terror, we have been twice lucky to walk away relatively unscathed. Yet somehow we can feel the aspects of the evils lingering, as we revel in the destruction of our enemies, almost feeding on the cultists' fears as we wipe them off the side of this charred rock. It's down by the molten lake's edge, in a camp devoid of life, do we find Mephisto's sinister countenance peering down at us. We turn to Lorith and mutter, "The last shrine."
Mephisto, Lord of Hatred, Father of Lilith. You need to be careful. Her blood is already a part of you.
I can handle it.
You see? The power here is already agitating you.
I told you I can handle it. Tell me what to say, and then go search for the temple.
So be it. When you're ready, speak the name Dol Mephistos. But watch yourself.
Realizing Lorith is right, and we've been allowing the brothers to take root in our mind, we apprehensively recite,
Dol Mephistos.
And yet, nothing happens to us. Instead, we see the familiar portal the bloodied wolf had opened before, and wary, we step inside. It's there the all-too-congenial wolf greets.
We meet again.
Mephisto. I know who you are now.
Yes, but that doesn't mean we can't help each other. That mortal Elias seeks to use the power of the Primes for his own ends. No one knows their place anymore, do they? His meddling has drawn echoes of the past to my refuge of hatred. But you and I can put things back in order. Once you've brought peace to this realm, I will be able to give you my blessing.
Unsure how Elias is affecting the Lord of Hatred's realm, and disinclined to waste time wondering why, we focus on ending this supposed illusion.
The forces of hell approach!
And so we head up the snowy mountain path of Sescheron, putting down barbarians in events we were nary born during.
Ulkathos, lend me your strength!
It's only at its peak, post-slaughtering some numerous notable barbarians, does one called Gorm attack. Though formidable even as an illusion, his flesh still peels off like an overripe grape against our summoned blood wave. Seemingly satisfied with our performance, Mephisto purrs.
Well done. You were born for this.
I didn't expect a prime evil would need a mortal's help.
Yes, I've had some bad luck in recent years. Trapped in those soulstone trinkets. Cast back to hell. My essence is reforming. And so my power has limits. We all have our ups and downs, don't we?
You deserve far worse.
All I have done is offer you help, and yet you repay me with hatred. Why not focus that anger on Lilith for the time being? Take my blessing. Destroy her. Save your world.
Before we leave, we inquire, who were those barbarians?
The victims of my brother, Baal. He laid waste to the barbarian lands long before your time. I wish I could have seen it with my own eyes. I had no part in it, though. Elias has upset the balance at the Temple of the Primes, and those shades of the past belong in Baal's domain, not mine. But I do welcome their hatred.
With all we need, we exit the portal and re-emerge at the spine of Sivo. To the east, overlooking the temple, we locate Lorith. And seeing the entrance, are surprised it's unguarded and inform Nah. I've received the final blessing.
What took you so long?
I saw something at the shrine. A wolf.
Mephisto has been known to take such a form.
It's not the first time I've encountered him.
What? When you kept this from me?
We all keep secrets, don't we, Haradrim?
We don't have time for this now. Elias could be in the middle of his ritual already. Clear your head before we press on. The Temple of the Primes is just ahead.
At the base of the mountain, we cross the River of Flame and the Triune symbol unmolested, hearing Mephisto's voice ring out.
By your hand, the way will be opened.
Inside the temple, we find tributes of both material wealth and human sacrifices to the Primes. Just to the east, a dark priest, Siban, threatens.
Trespassers! Your screams will welcome Andariel to the world!
And yet it was her scream we heard instead. Passing through the halls of destruction to the west, Lorith stops us as he hears.
Wait, do you hear something?
Dodging a giant swath of its sword just in time, we begin fighting the Pit Lord, Marla, Master of Flame, dodging his fiery assault amidst his tantrum as it bashes the ground furiously. Fighting scores of cultists, we finally find an opening and see a sacrificial altar below, spying Elias mid-ceremony as the cannibal Brawl paces like a caged animal. Getting closer, Lorith whispers.
Oh, we're too late. The ritual is underway. I will deal with Elias myself. Stay to the shadows.
With Lorith escaping the sacrifice, we're left to contend with the tyrant King Brawl, barely dodging death as we move to confront him, and one of his two large swords glances off our armor. The crazed cannibal proves surprisingly agile for his size, rushing us in a hulking charge and sending us flying. We realize one step too far near the pit, and we're done for in the lava below. Taking advantage of his great sword stuck in the floor thanks to an overhead swing, Brawl becomes further enraged, calling forth his many minions. However, we quickly dispose of them, using their bodies for dangerous corpse explosions that catch his meaty flank. As we send a wave of blood at the brute, he shockingly charges through still intact. And it's only after a final heft of our sword that we dispatch the fiend. We then scoop up the items of the fallen hostile, including the legendary Torturous Adventurer's gloves, giving us a boost to our Iron Maiden with a 17% chance to have enemies be stunned for a second if they attack us. This is the story of Diablo 4. Act 3-5, The Unkillable Horodrim.
You think killing me again will have a different outcome?
Liberating the female sacrifice from Elias's ritual and felling the tyrant King Brawl. Nearby, we find the mysterious woman recovering with Lorith by her side, and she introduces.
What happened? It feels like fire crawling over my skin.
You were tattooed. A ritual.
I hear something. A voice in my head.
Andariel. A connection was made between you and her. Who are you?
Thaisa. Who are you?
I am Lorath, one of the Horadrim.
Horadrim. So is Elias.
If he told you that, he was lying. I came to kill him. Thought I had, but the moment I looked away, he vanished.
If he survived, he will have fled to his refuge.
Refuge?
He has a palace, somewhere in the deserts of eastern Kyrgyzstan. But that is all I know.
Taking a moment, we inform Nah. Brawl is dead.
Well, there's one bit of good news. With him gone, perhaps the cannibals in Guulrahn will fall into disarray.
How do we find this palace?
We should get to Tarsarak. The people there know the deserts of Kyrgyzstan well. Maybe someone has heard of this palace.
Let me join you. I don't know how much help I will be in this condition, but I owe you my life.
You don't owe us anything, but you are welcome to come. You deserve vengeance too.
Lorith and his new ward Thaisa depart, while we are instructed to meet them in the southern Kyrgyzstani town of Tarsarak. If it could be called a town, as we find it is little more than a dusty outpost for weary travelers. Inside the settlement, we find Lorith kneeling next to a pained Thaisa by the town well and ask, "Have you learned anything about Elias's palace?"
Just rumors, mostly. The people here speak of a sorcerer who lives in a grand palace beyond the endless sandstorm.
One of these nomads could help us reach it. They know the land better than...
Thaisa?
Andariel. I hear her. I need a place to focus. Keep her voice at bay.
Look for a guide. I'll get something to help Thaisa clear her mind.
Before searching for the palace, we inquire with Thaisa. How did you become entangled with Elias?
I was hunting him, much like you. Infiltrated the cult to get close. Somehow he was ready for me.
He is more powerful than he seems.
Searching for leads on this palace, we first stop by the local inn and ask the publican, Irizarry, how is business?
War in the steppes, bandits in the south, and Caldium has closed its golden gates. The few customers we get usually want a guide to take them to safety. Akarat knows where that is.
What can you tell me of Tarsarak?
Behold, the armpit of the desert. Our families came from Alcarnus years ago after that city went to hell. They camped here by the crossroads, set up trade. It's been a struggle ever since.
Further speaking to the hard life that the desert bears, a local Linnea shares from her stupor in the corner.
Last night I dreamed that the sandstorm came and buried us here. If only...
South of the inn, we find a mother with child wailing on the steps.
Let me guess. Just passing through. Oh, yes. I'll never be married.
Just below her stand two residents, and we ask of Marjub. I'm looking for a guide to help me pass through the northern storm.
You'll find none fool enough to accept that request here. Give up and stay alive a day longer.
Understanding their apprehension, we press on, seeing to the north a woman by a butcher's cart, Nadia, and ask, will you guide me through the sandstorm to the north?
Are you mad? There's a sorcerer living in that storm who will rip your flesh from your bones.
We then head into the town square, and to the east see two merchants bickering and interrupt. Excuse me, I need a guide to get through the sandstorm to the north.
Ha! No chance. Not for all the gold in Chaldeum.
Wait. What about the old man?
Ha! I'd sooner walk backwards into the burning hells than rely on him. But he might be the only one crazy enough to agree. He spends his days in a fog by the banks of the Argentec River. It's no place for kind souls. Be careful.
With but one lead left, we inform Lorith. I know where to find a guide. Where is Thaisa?
Found a quiet spot where she can focus on controlling Andariel's presence.
Is it safe to leave her here?
Safer than stumbling blind through the desert, at least until we find a reliable guide.
Exiting via the western gate, we find a loitering local Mawadi who beckons to us and mocks.
That's a fine costume. The desert sun is going to love you.
Despite his tone, something tells us this is probably sage advice. However, it's not long before the promised gold and blue-garbed bandits assault us to the south in the central rise. To the southeast, we find the Argentec riverbank encampment, a welcome respite for the harsh desert sun. Save our welcome as we realize it's wholly inhabited by bandits.
Every day brings new fools. I'm not the one who's gonna roll their corpses into the river this time. No chance.
We find the local populace largely holds their hostilities. However, when we approach the inn, the proprietor, Sifar, warns.
You'd better turn around and walk out of here, friends.
Ignoring the warning, we begin to search for a guide, but hear his mirthless laughter.
Well, can't say I didn't warn you.
The entire inn then descends on us. With the bandits obliterated, bar a straggler, we head inside the dubious den out back to find an old-timer in a blissful haze and rouse. Wake up!
What's that? I'm paid up, leave me be.
We're not here to collect. We need...
Huh? It can't be. Can it? Is that the symbol of the Ho? The Hora,
Haradrim?
Yes, Horadrim. Deckard? Deckard Cain. Can it be you, old friend? It's me, Mischief.
No, Deckard is gone. My name is Lorath. We need your help passing through the sandstorm to the north.
Sandstorm, eh? The others must have turned you down. Told you some rubbish about a sorcerer, I'll wager. Yeah. Well, what can a sorcerer do to me that time hasn't already? Yes, I'll help. There's an old chapel near there, an auspicious spot to begin a new adventure.
Good. Gather whatever you need. I'll fetch Thaisa and meet you there.
Ha! This is wonderful! Like old times, eh, Deckard?
Despite the clear case of mistaken identity, we stay a while and listen to the old man, Mischief, who, after a good rant, has decided to join us for one final, supposed adventure with Cain. A Horadrim we had only heard whispers of, and yet know he was once a revered member of the Horadrim that had dealings with the Lord of Terror back in yesteryear. Meeting Lorath and Mischief in the Forsaken Chapel to the north, as instructed, we also find Thaisa elaborating on her entanglement with the Lesser Evil.
Ah, you're here! Deckard is inside with your friend.
The moment we stepped inside, Andariel grew desperate. But her screams are only a whisper now.
This is holy ground. Her influence will be weaker here.
Curious, we then ask, what does Andariel say to you?
Terrible things. Mad things. She knows of Lilith's return and what Elias is planning. But Andariel does not care who wins, only that someone loses, and that their suffering is extreme.
Is there anything I can do to help?
No. I've been a burden for you already. One day, I will find a way to help you.
With Elias being the key to all our questions, we inquire with Lorath. Is everyone ready?
I am. Up to Thaisa, whether she'll join us, though.
Every part of me wants to walk through that storm and draw Elias's blood. But perhaps he is counting on my vengeance to lead me back to him, so he can finish what he started. It is safer for everyone if I stay.
No shame in that. It's the wise choice. We'll bring you his head.
Out front of the chapel, we then meet Mischief tending to his camel and ask, "Tell me more about Cain."
Ha! Hasn't told you much about himself, eh? I remember when you couldn't stop him from talking. We met several lifetimes ago. In Aranak, I believe. Or maybe Lutgalain. That's right. I was a sailor back then. And a handsome one, too. Deckard was always such an intense fellow. But kind and dependable. Took it upon himself to right any wrong he found. And we found many. To think I would find him here, of all places. Still just as intense, and still traveling with interesting company.
Are you prepared?
Are you? Oh, I hope you've lined your pockets with healing draughts. If not, help yourself to the ones I keep on old Isabella here. Storm's going to get worse, too. I can smell it. When it starts to kick up, we'll have to find something to shelter us, or there'll be nothing left of us but bones and stories.
Following Mischief southeast into the silent expanse, we find him staring out into the storm and question. Why have you stopped here?
Just savoring the moment. This is going to be a trek to remember, eh, Deckard? I can't wait!
The older man trudges headlong into the scouring sands at an impressive speed for his advanced years, deftly dodging the giant scorpions patrolling the dunes.
The winds are turning angry! Follow me!
He then beckons us as we run headlong into a twister. Finding a small reprieve in a merchant's camp to the west, it seems the inhabitants had succumbed to the dangers of the desert. Mashif excitedly declares,
Could it be? Ah! It is! The gods favor our journey, friends! Share a drink with me, Deckard. A toast to another life or death adventure.
No, I've had quite enough. It's all yours.
Ah, I won't turn down such generosity. Seems it's dying down. Onward!
Resuming our trek to the north, we are then swarmed by all manner of hostile, dredged up by the treacherous sands, and Mashif warns.
Storm's kicking up again. This way, quickly!
Pausing at a great unnamed creature's carcass, our guide laments.
No! Back! We need to go back!
What? What's wrong?
My pipe! I left my pipe back at the chapel! We must go back and get it!
Oh man, if you turn your back now, I'll be the first to bury a blade in it.
Bah! Fine. But I won't forget this betrayal, Deckard. And you know I won't. Come on then.
To the east, we're surrounded by skeletal foes, and Mashif wisely pauses, crying out.
We're being swarmed! Keep Isabella safe! It's time to move, eh? Follow me!
With the beast of burden safe, we overhear him questioning the foe Cain.
Ah, Deckard. Do you remember the smell of the salt air on the ocean? No shade or devil could stand in our way. Been all across this world since then. Seen things you wouldn't believe. But it was never quite the same. Wandering without a direction, it was just waiting.
Aye. It's important to have something to walk towards.
One foot in front of the other, eh, old friend? If we stop walking, we die. Sounds like the winds have calmed. Stay close.
It's only to the north, under some natural stone arches, does the sandstorm momentarily abate, revealing outer gardens of an oasis-like palace setting. Mashif then amazes.
That wasn't half as dangerous as the others made it seem. Look at this. To think such an intriguing place was hidden beyond the storm.
A relic from the old days of Kyrgyzstan, maybe. Lost to time until Elias seized it.
He must hold some treasure, eh?
Mashif, don't move. Don't speak to anyone. There is great danger lurking here.
You've grown fearful in your old age, my friend. But worry not. I will stay put.
Leaving Mashif and Isabella at the entrance, we're soon stopped by a pompous follower of Elias who scoffs.
Elias chose them to join his anointed circle? Ha! That one in rags will never survive what is to come.
To the east, more nobles congregate and share.
I heard the calling in a dream. I saw an army at the mother's side, ready to wage war against hell. And I was among her followers, reborn anew with her power.
And to the north, near the entrance's stairs.
It was Master Elias's hand that brought Lilith to Sanctuary, and it will be his hand that binds a lesser evil to our will. Imagine when we hold that kind of power.
Ascending the stone stairs to the opulent desert palace, there is little sign of cultist activities, save for the triune symbol etched on the floor. Passing the seal, we are promptly stopped.
You there! Wait! I haven't seen you before.
We just made it through the storm. By the Mother's grace.
Ah, new disciples.
You've come at an auspicious time. Lilith recently graced us with her presence.
She was here?
Oh, it was magnificent. But do not worry. Perhaps Master Elias will give you a glimpse of her through the sightless eye. If he deems you worthy, go inside and present yourself to him.
Entering the palace's gloom, Lorith warns.
Damn, this is worse than I thought. Elias has the sightless eye. It's ancient magic. He can see anywhere with it. Across time, even.
Time? What a vexed relic for our enemy to possess. Searching for the Pale Man to the northeast, we're greeted.
Our flock has grown. Behold, the wonders that the Mother has in store for you.
Already we see bleeding statues of Lilith, and our heart sinks. Inside the inner gardens, we hear what sounds like fighting, but instead we see nobles praying by one of Lilith's cultists as he summons a succubus. The illusion is then made clear. These anointed nobles' own pride is weaponized against them, as they already believe they're a caste above others, and therefore erroneously see themselves as worthy masters of demons as well, which a nearby noble confirms.
Raise your heads high, champions of Lilith! Never again will we fear demons! They will serve us in the war to come.
Words cannot begin to describe their misguided arrogance. We then hear a nearby noble's prayer.
Mother, bless me with your power, and whatever you ask of me, it will be done.
Locating Elias's inner sanctum, a noble guarding his quarters permits.
Go forth and stand in judgment before Master Elias. But show no fear, no hesitation.
Don't worry, we won't.
Inside we see the Pale Man mid-prayer.
Blessed Mother, I will not fail you again. The maiden will walk this world.
Interrupting the master of the new Triune, Elias spins on us, taunting.
You should have stayed in that little cabin, hoarding your regrets. I am beyond you.
This is over. We should find the sightless eye while we still have time. We can't leave it with these fanatics.
Hold on. I see something. Blood petals.
Checking the blood petals, we're ripped into a vision of the recent past.
Mephisto, Diablo, Baal. The ruination of Sanctuary is imminent. And yet you doubt.
Only zealots and fools are completely certain, Mother. If we are to be saved, it will be by your hand.
I have not come to save, but to empower. In my shadow, the strong will oppose the might of hell itself. Let the weak fend for themselves.
Andariel lives. The Horadrim die.
Whatever the cost.
Whatever the cost.
I had another vision. Lilith thinks the prime evils will destroy Sanctuary, and she's empowering people to stand against them.
That's why she and Elias are gathering followers. They're building a bloody army.
Yes, Lorath. The Lords of Hell threaten our existence, and we are doing something about it.
Elias, how are you still alive?
You will never understand what I have done for this world.
Elias, the somehow resurrected fallen Horodrim, flings blood magic at us, summoning a demon to be a champion of Lilith, reminding us of the demon we felled in Genbar's cave. Elias then scoffs.
After all these years, this is the best you can do!
As Elias stalks the stairs, we hurl a blood wave at our foe as a frustrated Lorith questions.
Why won't the bastard die? We can't keep bashing our heads against him like this. He'll wear us down. We need to escape, but not without the sightless eye. If we can take it, that'll rob him of some power at least.
The sightless eye. We find just ahead a bloody altar to Lilith and a tome embossed with demonic runes at the stairs which reads,
In the mountains, the mother and I saw a village. The people, cold and hungry, prayed to a light that would give them no warmth. But in her presence, a new fire was stoked in their hearts. They would never go hungry or feel cold again.
He must be speaking of Nevesk. What a twisted take on the bloody butchering that transpired there. Elias's mind must be broken to believe Lilith was anything but a malevolent matriarch. It's only deep in the halls of the Master, to the northwest, does Elias re-emerge appealing.
I sense the blood of Lilith in you, Wanderer. You received her blessed communion. Open your heart to her. Embrace your nature.
Never.
The fallen Horodrim, again, opens a volley of blood magic attacks at us. Supremely confident in his ability to never fall in battle, he ridicules.
You will give up at some point, old man. It's what you always do.
As the battle wears on, in a now familiar rhythm, he mocks.
You think killing me again will have a different outcome?
As Lorith pierces Elias' side with his polearm, blood sprays across his face and he gags.
Ugh, that stench. It's unnatural. Some kind of necromancy. Where did he find this power?
Necromancy? But we've never heard of self-resurrection, save whispers of our patron Rathma. Stepping into the bloody hall, holding the sightless eye, its guardian, Elias, greets.
Are you looking for the eye, Lorath? Taking it will change nothing. It is too late to stop what Lilith has begun.
Again, we initiate a now all too familiar dance as Elias scoffs.
Oh, you can do better than this, can't you?
Incensed at his former master, he spits.
Stop holding back, Lorath!
Now, with crazed supplicants empowering the Pale Man, we contend with them first, and hopefully, for a final time, we watch as Elias falls.
Here it is. The sightless eye. Mashif can help us get the artifact far from this place, but we need to hurry before Elias returns. That opening over there is our best chance of escape.
Exiting via the small gap in the wall into the outer gardens, we descend the stone, making a dash back to Mashif, and find we are too late.
Put pressure here. We need to stop the bleeding.
It seems I've lost a step in my old age, eh, Deckard?
No.
Hey, you made it. Did you kill that sorcerer fellow?
Don't talk. The storm was broken. We'll get you out of here.
Oh, it's a shame. I got mine. Just a hair too late. Sneaky devil poked me in the back. Skewered like a quill rat. So it goes. Hey, Deckard.
Aye. So it goes. They'll be coming. I'm taking the sightless eye. We need a safe place to study it. Use it against them. We'll meet at the desert chapel. Go.
We then make a somber solo trip back to the desert palace to meet Tysa and Lorth and explain. I have news of Elias.
Did you kill him?
More than once, in fact. Trouble is, he won't stay dead.
He is more powerful than I thought. I underestimated him.
So did I. But we took something important from him, at least. The sightless eye. I think he was using it to commune with Lilith from afar.
A powerful piece of magic.
And dangerous. Perhaps we can use it to our advantage. Give me some time to study it. The prime evils were reforming. Hell was coming. But Elias was not the answer to anyone's prayers. If you want to take the measure of someone, you judge them by their deeds, not their words. Simple as that. Elias preached of saving the world while standing atop a mountain of corpses. Then there was the Wanderer. Everything Elias was not. Tainted by Lilith's blood, and yet able to resist her corruption. That was what I witnessed in the Wanderer's deeds. And that was when I started to think that perhaps together, we could keep the evil at bay.